Joining us, we have Criminal Bar Association President, Senior Counsel Israel Khan. Pleasant good evening to you, sir, and Happy New Year to you and your family.
And same to you and your listeners and viewers.
Thank you so much. On January 6th, human rights activist Yesenia Gonzalez filed a report with the Police Complaints Authority alleging she was beaten, threatened, and terrorized by police officers who raided her Mount Lambert home on January 4th. And she demanded to see a search warrant. We spoke to Ms. Gonzalez last week. And weighing in on the issue is Senior Counsel Israel Khan, making it quite clear that police officers cannot simply flash a piece of paper, which they say is a search warrant, and demand entry into someone's property. These basic rights, or at least knowledge of these basic rights, Senior Counsel, doesn't seem to connect with the average citizen. And is that because that they have been sensitized or made aware of this?
Well, that is one of the reasons why the police, they have an attitude that they're not accountable to the people whose home they're searching. But they ought to read that warrant to the homeowner, and if he demands to look at it, they ought to show him the warrant, and that he could see that the warrant has been signed by a judicial officer or justice of the peace, and then they can search.
Yeah, but many times, Senior Counsel, interacting with police officers, and I'm sure other members of the public would say, is that we get the impression that they themselves don't even know as far as the legal rights of people when it comes to interacting with them. You would go out on a protest, and an officer would say, listen, don't stand there. And you would ask him or her, why is that? And they themselves don't seem to know. I mean, does this breakdown come from the fact that, when it is that they get into the academy and they start to learn, that whole legal aspect is not something that is told to them or, made it quite clear to them, as crystal clear as possible?
I think they are quite aware, but they really don't care to adhere to the law. If the person is standing on a pavement or blocking some entrance or something, obstructing the free passageway, or encouraging people, somebody can speak to the people, but they just don't stand there without saying why and maybe push you off or something like that. But coming back to the homeowners, they don't care to show the homeowners the warrant. And some police officers have blank warrants signed by some justice of the peace, unscrupulous justice of the peace, and just put in the date and the name of the person and so on.
But as far as putting measures in place to deal with this, what have you suggested and have laid out to the TTPS?
The justice of the peace or the judicial officer should not issue a search warrant to begin with unless he is satisfied on a balance of probabilities that there are reasonable grounds for searching the premises of the individual. And they can go there, and what they want to do is to inform the relevant station and maybe launch a copy of the warrant there. But then there is the problem of security with current police officers, because you never know if an officer or officers can inform the person whose home they desire to search that the police the possession of a warrant, that they will come to search your home, and the person might spirit away things, illegal things that they might have on their premises, or arms that have been destroyed, or narcotics, or what have you. So it's a problem all around.
Yeah, but many of these JPs don't really have that legal training to understand. And then again, they're not going to question the officers, as you know. These things are just simply signed. And a JP might say, well, if I don't sign it, another JP is just going to sign it. And that's the way it keeps going. What about protecting the rights of us as citizens, where police officers simply can't just show up, say they have a document there pertaining to, coming into your home, and when in fact they don't?
Well, I think the majority of justice of the peace, they have the training and they know, but they just cooperate with the police. They ought to question the police. What are the reasonable grounds? Why are you going to search the premises? Because once you search the premises of a citizen, the whole neighborhood might form the view that they're involved with illegal activities and so on. It's just not adhere to the law.
Yeah, and it is, of course, an embarrassing situation. But at this point in time, when we look at the crime situation, you have so many people who are saying that they've been affected by those folks who are posing as officers. They're not real officers. They're coming into your home. Some people, of course, we've seen reports where people have been kidnapped by people posing to be officers. There has to be some new system put in place and implemented to deal with these situations. As we can see, it's getting out of hand.
Well, some of them appear with police uniform and the numbers on it and so on. How do you know? You would not know. I think what they ought to do is, like, if people are apprehended who are imposters and they pose as police officers, they should expedite, charge these people and expedite the hearing and give them a sentence to the two other people from doing the same thing. It's a problem. It's just a problem not only in Trinidad, all over.
Now, let me ask you, because I know many of the viewers would want to know, in the United States, they say that your property, of course, can be extended to your vehicle or anything else that you may have that you own. Can an officer just simply say, listen, I have a warrant to search your car, or simply come out of your car if he or she believes that it's rightful? Or do you have rights as a citizen to say, listen, unless you show me a warrant, you simply can't just search my car?
No, they don't have to have a warrant to search your vehicle. Your vehicle is not your home. If you're traveling, like in a roadblock, the police have to have reasonable suspicion, really, that you're carrying something in your car that might be illegal, but they just stop. But the search in Canada, that can't happen. They have to show probable cause.
Yeah, but now the flashing of the paper, when in fact, as you said many times, this paper could be blank. And how many cases would you say are simply before the courts where the rights of the citizens were trampled on?
Well, there are many cases, but usually people whose rights have been trampled upon, they are not the entrenched upper middle class or people who live in a certain area. They treat people differently in certain areas. They discriminate against the poor and impoverished. And that's a fact of life.
Yeah, but the poor and impoverished still have constitutional rights.
Yes, they have. I'm not saying they do not have the rights. They have the rights. But the attitude of the police.
So you're telling me that in the psyche of many of these officers, because I may live somewhere that is deemed to be a hot spot, and I'm sure the first thing that comes to people's mind is whether Laventil, Sealots, or Beetham, that these people have no rights to their own constitutional privacy?
They have rights. They have the same rights as the people living in Westmoreland. But the police officers trample upon these rights and they treat it like that.
And when you are told that there are reasonable grounds, I mean, because that's all that is said to JP. Sign this warrant because there's reasonable grounds. But is there anything outlined as far as what the reasonable grounds could be? Is it perhaps someone who is working with extension of the officers, what we call an undercover confidential informant, or the fact that something was witnessed, or any of these things that can justifiably say, listen, we have a right to come in there and search your home, and just not saying it's the fact that it's on the grounds that we believe that some wrongdoing is taking place?
No, they have to give the grounds for the belief. And if there's somebody give them information, an informer, or they place under observation, all that will factor into whether the justice of the peace is going to sign the search warrant. And reasonable grounds is not really proof beyond reasonable doubt. What it is really is it's like there could be something lodged there. That is what they will tell her. They will swear to that. And it might turn out to be just malicious.
Yeah, and I'm sure you would agree that the fact that there's so much distrust between officers and, of course, the population has to do with many of these things where many people feel that their rights are being trampled on.
Well, that is why the police are so unpopular in the minds of the ordinary citizen, that the officers are trampling upon their rights. And most of the time, these people don't take it further unless they are arrested and then charged for something, then it comes up in court. But you cannot even go behind that warrant, you know. For instance, in the reservoir grounds, we had information, and it would divulge who is the informer, that we have been duly informed by our informant, and so on. It's just balancing the rights of the citizens with the rights of the police officers to protect and serve the country.
And this brings us back full circle. How do we deal with this situation? Senior Counsel, I want to thank you so much for taking time out this evening, enlightening us. I mean, really and truly, many of our viewers are still scratching their head as to, listen, where our rights, our constitutional rights to privacy, and when someone steps over that line, when someone tramples on it, what kind of redress can we get as citizens? Because as you said, even the warrant, is it that the warrant itself cannot even be questioned when we get to the courtroom?
Yes, it could be questioned. And if there was an illegal search, the probably exists, it might be compensated, the state may have to pay. But people don't take that further, they don't take it, they just leave it like that and hope for the best.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Thank you so much, Senior Counsel. Again, all the best, and thank you so much, and best of luck to you and your entire team.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.